And finally, let's get into some hope for the future. Because I love this Quan Alexander trade. And it really does in a lot of ways speak to how far this Saints front office has come. There was about 5 years there where they were maybe the worst front office in the NFL. They had the least amount of draft picks. They had the least amount of draft picks end up making the team. They were signing bad contracts like Jarris Bird, Junior Gillette. At one point, I think they carried 20% of their cap in dead money into a season, which is not unlike LSU right now, carrying just 60-something scholarship players out of an allotted 85. Like and when you're talking about SEC football, when you're talking about the NFL, where the margins are so thin that decides who wins and loses, having that many, that percentage of your resources unavailable to you, that's kind of a death sentence, right? And so, at that time, the Saints have been 7-9 multiple years. I think it was like 3 out of 4 years, and the worst front office in the NFL, and it looked like it was all over, right? But the Saints ownership believed in the people that they had in place. Now, they entered some intense self-evaluation, and some decisions were made. The main thing would probably be bringing Jeff Ireland in to be the head of college scouting. And look what they've done for the draft. It's been incredible. And then they also learned some lessons from some bad contracts. But the point is, ownership backed the guys that they believed in, and they were rewarded for it. Now the Saints have been the winningest team in the NFL the past 3 years. This Kiko Alonso move, moving him for Quan Alexander, is just another great value pick for the Saints. It doesn't cost you anything, no long-term commitment. And so my overall point here is, I know with LSU football, it's very frustrating right now in the short term. And you should be frustrated. I mean, the Pelini contract is bad. The hire has been an abject disaster, and there's no defending it. And ultimately, that is going to be the piece that the LSU is going to have to figure out before fans are going to fully get on board. But I also see people going too far the opposite direction. You cannot completely take away credit from this stat for that championship. O is the one who brought in these transfers. He's the one who engineered that championship. And if as ownership, or like whatever the equivalent of ownership on the college level would be, the executives at LSU, whoever, like if you believe in your guy, you have to give him the opportunity and believe that he will weather that storm once again. And maybe nobody more so than Ed Orgeron, if you look at his past, would be better suited to weathering said storm. And when you look at this team, you got Eric Gilbert, you got Eli Ricks, you got look at Keyshawn Boutte on that touchdown even last week. Like, you got young talent all over the field. And yes, you're taking your lumps in the short term, and you will continue to do so. I mean, young teams are already incredibly volatile. It's a hallmark of a young team. You look great one game, terrible the next. Then you throw in a defensive coordinator that just looks lost and looks like a net negative on the team, and that's why it looks so bad. But it's not as bad as it looks long term. And so if they can figure out the coordinator situation, then I think you'll bounce back with drastic improvement next season. And then in 2 years, I think you could be a championship caliber team again. So all I'm saying is, it's okay to be reactive. It's okay to be emotional. These are all natural things. Just don't go too far down that road, okay? Recognize you're a year removed from a national championship, and there is hope for the future as well. All right, look at what y'all have to say. We're going to get the YouTube chat to the commercial break a little bit. And when we get back, we will go around the NFL and kind of close the book on Week 8. It kind of hurts my heart to say it's already Week 8, which is a huge bummer, which means whatever. It doesn't mean anything except that we have a whole nother half of season of football left here on Off the Bench, OTB OT.
OTB OT.